Okay, guys, this is my review for UFC 149. Uriah Faber versus Henan Barral. Well, this card just sucked pretty much. It wasn't very interesting at all. Majority of all the fights went to decision, and it wasn't a hard fought decision. It was more of just laziness, lazy fighting type. So let's first start with probably the most interesting fight on the whole card, which was Matt Riddle versus Chris Clemens. Riddle basically tried to stand up as much as he could, and then eventually he had to take it to the ground, and he ended up catching him with a standing arm triangle and taking it to the ground and finishing him out in the third round. Then we have James Head versus Brian Erbelsol. I have no idea what happened to Erbelsol in this one. He was basically looked like he lost a lot of muscle mass and moving down or in the weight cut, or I have no clue, but he did not look like he normally looks. He looked like his body frame had changed completely. And he went against James Head, who pretty much manhandled him the whole round, pushing him back a lot. And it just went to a split decision, and James Head won. Then we have Czech Kongo versus Sean Jordan. Czech Kongo pretty much just manhandled, Sean Jordan and got the unanimous decision. He just laid against him on the cage for pretty much the whole fight. Just dirty cage boxing, but it wasn't even, to a point where it was a dominating fashion. They were going back and forth, but Kongo was showing more aggression, and it was pretty boring. I'm surprised that the ref didn't separate them, but he let them fight on and on and on the cage repeatedly for the second and third round, pretty much. So Czech Kongo won that one. Not a very impressive win, but win nonetheless. Then we have Tim Boych versus Hector Lombard. I don't know what happened in this match. Lombard, as we expected, was supposed to come out and be attack, be on some type of, just a really aggressive fighter. That's the way he was when he won the Bellator championship, and that's the way he's always fought. But then he gets to the UFC, and he's the most conservative fighter that you possibly could see. He wasn't attacking at all. He just was literally standing in one spot, flat-footed, waiting to get hit to hit back, the counterpunch. Very, very boring, because you did not expect this at all. I don't know if he just became a huge safe fighter. Not a very exciting fighter. I can just imagine Dana White being pissed because they just signed this guy who they thought that was going to be this explosive monster, go against Anderson Silva. If he went against Anderson Silva, he would get destroyed. I mean, it wouldn't even be a match. It would just. And then you have Tim Boych, who pretty much was trying to just win. He was fighting his fight, and he ended up beating him by Tim Boych ended up defeating Hector Lombard by split decision. So, I mean, what can you say? That's what Hector gets for fighting that slow-paced fight. I mean, he could have won, possibly. Some people may say that Hector won, but that's what he gets for fighting that safe fight. Then we have Barral versus Faber. And this one, it was just, a little Aldo versus Faber again. It was just leg kick after leg kick after leg kick. And eventually Faber, couldn't move around as normally as if his leg wasn't kicked to death. And he just got out-kicked, out-punched. You know, he was just getting dominated throughout the whole fight. No takedowns, really. No takedowns at all, I believe. And Barao wins a unanimous decision. And becomes an interim, I think it's bantamweight or something like that. But, you know, it was just Aldo versus Faber, you know, two basically. But except Barao wasn't as dominant. He's not as a talented fighter as Aldo as far as finishing wise and whatnot. But he did the exact same thing, followed the exact same plans to beat Faber, and that's that. Faber probably, I don't know what he's gonna do. Probably just, there's no way I can see him fighting for another title because they've just given him title match after title match after title match. So hoping that he would, you know, become their big star, but he just doesn't have it. So there you go, guys. UFC 149, very, very boring card. As usual, please rate, subscribe, and comment if you like my video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.